Well, I'm going through that gate. You're coming with me. I'm going through that gate. You're coming with me. That's right. Last night was the final performance of the 2025 Wholehearted Chorus season. And I got lots to say. Oh, welcome to Hug Nation Live. I am John Halcyon Stin, and I am glowing in the after effects of the final performance of the Wholehearted Chorus. Good morning, Alfie and Lively. And if you are here, please say hello. Share something that you are feeling grateful for. Just a little bitty thing if you want. Maybe a great big thing. Welcome, Kevin and Mitchie and Ovyogo Om. I am grateful for the opportunity to be on stage and sing with 100 plus singers and Mamuse and Lisa Littlebird. There's so much about it that was a growth experience for me, and I'll dig into it a little bit deeper. First, in case you are new here, this is Hug Nation Live. It is a daily practice of sharing gratitude and remembering that we are surrounded by like-minded, open-hearted people. So we are live in a number of places right now, and I will read your gratitude if you'd like to share it. Welcome, Michael James and Klamath River. I'm grateful to be back home in San Diego. I love my home here. It's grateful to be home. I do miss my beloved Lisa. She is staying up in the Big Sur area through the weekend for another retreat. But boy, considering how much she had to do preparing last minute stuff for the concert. We had a 1,000-person theater, the Golden State Theater, and sold over 800 tickets. So it was a packed crowd and really powerful. Kevin says, last time I saw you, you had pink hair, no beard, and a unicorn face tattoo. And 2 of those things are true. I still have a little bit. I have a little rainbow tattoo from the 4-year-old's birthday party I went to last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. So now what's true, Kevin? Anybody else want to share something that they are feeling grateful for? I am having looks like I might be having a little YouTube rebroadcast error. Well, just double check that just in case. Man, I feel like I should play a little clip from the concert, so you know what I'm talking about. Alfie says, hello from Great Britain. I am grateful that I get to hopefully experience my first Burning Man in 2026. It seems it's finally my turn to join my friends and experience it. Any advice for my first burn? Oh boy. First, just make sure you know that I have a whole bunch of tips for first timers and veterans. If you go to the Instagram account, Burner Prep, or I have a whole site called playaprinciples.com, and there's tons of videos linked there of tips and tricks. But the big one I would say is remember that you are a participant and that you are not you're not going to the show of Burning Man. You're not checking it out. That the entire thing works when everybody understands that it is our city. And most of the things that people bring as art, it works best if you engage with it. So if you see a cool camp, you see a cool piece of art, don't just drive by and take pictures. Go spin the things on it and climb up it. And if there's the artist there, ask them a question. Or a cool camp, say, hey, come in, and if it's a public area, sit on their cool couch and enjoy their shade. And everyone's there to connect deeper and share their gifts. So if you really remember that, and really start to contemplate what is gifting. How can I make this moment better for others? That will really intensify the transformational possibilities. Hello, Foxtail Jewelry, and Petra, and Sophie, and Shadow Sniper, and Wastra Woman, Ova, Ov Yoga Yom, Ov Yoga Om. My apologies if I mispronounce a name. So grateful for the connections that happen on the interwebs. This morning has a meeting with a retreat center in Bali, and then India. This wouldn't have been possible not that long ago. So blessed. Yay. Oh, it's Lakia, even after I mess up the name. Amazing, Lakia. That's super cool. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Gerbot is here. It says, grateful for getting things done and for a job I enjoy going to. That is priceless. That is priceless. The number of people that have to live, they endure so much of the life that is work, and then try to live their lives in whatever energy is left. So happy to hear that. Poppy says, hello, amigo. I'm grateful my son's high school team won in PKs and advanced to the regional semifinals. He's the goalkeeper as well. Did I get GK right? He's the GK as well. The goal kicker. No. Goalkeeper. I think I got it right. Badass. That's got to feel pretty fun and prideful. I'm grateful that I've got lunch planned today with my First Saturdays Help the Homeless co-founders. We got a little bit of grant money, and we need to decide exactly what we're going to do with it. So I'm grateful for the grant money, and grateful that I get to see the guys that are my partners in this 16-year project that is still doing awesome. Goalkeeper, I knew it. Welcome, Tessa. Anybody else want to share a little bit of gratitude? Something wonderful and magical in their day? I'm grateful that at the concert last night, that so many people that were there had been watching and listening to the podcast that my beloved put out, a kind of a limited series to go with the concert series. It doesn't really, but there's one of the episodes is Lisa and I talking about relationships, and it's called A Song for All of Us is the name of the podcast. You can look it up on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And I think we're episode 5 or 6 is us. And I'm really proud of the conversation. And it felt so good to hear all these different people who didn't know me and then listen to this podcast and are like, that was great. Partially because a lot of people, Lisa has a lot of people know her in Monterey. She's been doing the choir up there for 15 years. And I'm this strange unknown that came in and lured her into my web and got her to agree to marrying me. And so it's nice to see people who absolutely love her kind of, I think, feel like, okay, I see why you guys are together. You guys are a good team. Like, thanks. That feels good. Elfie says, I'm happy we have people like you that spends time helping and enlightening others. You are fantastic and amazing. I would love to find some volunteer work I am passionate about. Thank you. And cannot recommend it more. Even though First Saturdays is just once a month, just having that as a part of my schedule and my ongoing use of my time, when I reflect on what am I doing with my life, it always feels so good to know that part of my efforts is in service. I mean, in some way, I think almost everything I do is in the realm of service. I feel like gratitude circles and this broadcast and men's work I do and the coaching I do, it's all feels like it's in service. And I think that's the key. I mean, that's the whole goes back to gifting and Burning Man, is when you really start to understand what gifting is, then you start looking at your life as, where are the ways that I can be of service? Where are the ways that I can make someone else's day, moment, life better? And in doing so, I feel better. And sometimes it's hard to make yourself feel better. So you may have heard, like, if you're feeling depressed or stuck in a funk, one of the absolutely best, quickest ways to lift your mood is to help someone else. Make up some sandwiches and go drive to the local Skid Row area and just give things away, and you'll feel better. You know what? Fill your pockets with, I don't know what your budget is, but dollar bills or $5 bills or $10 bills. Give away a few $10 bills to people who are hungry and see how quickly you're like, cool. All right. I could have spent 250 bucks on therapy, but I spent $250 and made 25 people's day a little easier. And that feels pretty fucking good. Now, warning, all 25 of those people may not respond with, "Oh, thank you, thank you." In fact, none of them may. And that makes it a little less rewarding. But if you can really identify as someone who helps, then you're less dependent on the reciprocal thank you. Because a true gift is not done transactionally. You don't need anything back. You don't want anything back. You just want to make their day better. Of course, it does feel awesome when someone goes, "Thank you, you made my day better," or whatever it is. But you will notice if you are not really gifting, if you are still transactionally acting when you have an expectation of what you want from them in their response or their gratitude. That's always a good practice. Gerbot says, "My love language is acts of service. You get what you give." Boom. Welcome, Elephant Game. Welcome anyone else who has popped in to say hello. Would love to hear what you're grateful for. Also, love the question, Alfie. If you got another one, throw it here. On the at the chorus performance last night, have I already mentioned how profoundly in love I am with Lisa? She's incredible. I mean, she she's leading a choir of 100 people. She's managing and overseeing the booking and all the behind the scenes of booking and doing a 1,000-person theater, and the walkthroughs and figuring out the door. Last minute, they had to do a raffle so we could collect email addresses. There's just so many things that she is managing, and she stays so centered. And then when it's singing time, she's just so relaxed, and she's really, I learned so much from her because her presence is not as someone who is performing a concert. It's someone who is, it's almost like she's a minister. She is devotional to the songs. She is dedicated to the theme of this concert series. It's a theme each year. This one is of bridging the divide, finding harmony. And so she shares in between songs, like, another ingredient in this recipe for finding harmony and bridging the divide is curiosity. And then talks about a little bit, the next song is about that. And then we sing the song. And most of the songs, there's parts that the audience can either we teach them overtly, or there's like choruses that they can sing along with. And so then you've got 800 people all singing. It is an energetic rush. Hello, BNHY Music. Saying grateful for a sunny day after several days of gloomy weather. Blessed to watch you and enjoy a morning coffee. I will cheers you with my morning coffee as well. Mm. I'm grateful that Lisa woke up with me at 4:20 this morning so I could get on the airplane and drive and fly home this morning. Early day for me. Hey, Chris is here. Chris says, grateful to be joining you today. And if you tuned in yesterday, you probably noticed I wasn't here. And that is a demonstration of one of the principles of Hug Nation, which is derived from Burning Man, which is immediacy. So I'm here every day unless there is something in my life that but is an opportunity to be present. So if I'm traveling, I often will set aside the responsibility or the commitment to be here, to be present with wherever I was. And when I was up in Monterey, I stayed in this beautiful home that was offered to us with Lisa and her parents. So I got to spend some time with Carla and Denny, who are just lovely people. And it's so cool to see them, like, you know, I gush about Lisa, and to have her parents in the audience watching her just rock this performance. And they were even saying, like, they could hear people behind them sitting where we're talking about Lisa, not knowing that they were being overheard by her parents. And just that's got to feel so good. Kirbat says she's a pro, another minister. So true. I think that's one of your deep connections you guys share. Yeah, I agree. And she's actually we complement each other. I'm a little sillier and a little bit more loosey goosey, and she's a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more. Uh, she has, she, although I was gonna say like she's got a vision, but one of the cool things about the choir is that it is a no audition choir. Anybody can sing. If I show you a video that we have a number of elders in the choir. So the first row was people in chairs so that elders could sit. And also because we had so many people that they wouldn't fit on the risers, they needed some volunteers to sit in the front. So I'm actually seated as everyone else is standing, except for me and some elders. And so the person, like the guy right next to me, is a guy who's an amazing older man, but his body is not what it once was, and so he doesn't have a lot of volume. If this was an audition choir, I'm not sure if he would get one of the spots, but if you want to, you can sing with us. And it's a in fact, she in part of the concert, she speaks to the audience, and beforehand she speaks to the choir, and it's like this. What did she say? She said the attainment or the pursuit of perfectionism is secondary to the pursuit of joyfulness. That got a huge applause from the whole theater. I love that. Ah, Christina, good morning. Saying grateful for a good meal. Had an amazing lunch that was nourishing and tasty. Thank you for sharing. Mingo says, good morning. I love you. Mingo was there last night. It was so nice to have a friendly person out in the audience. I mean, everyone was friendly, but it's nice to know I'm singing to people I know in the audience. So thanks for making the big drive and for the awesome footage that you sent. Is so the first concert, there was actually almost no footage of me. There's the whole chorus, but like I had to zoom in to see pictures of me, and Mingle took a little bit that was like zoomed in just on me, and it's so funny to me that the the clearest, most focused video that you took of me, I kinda lost the song in the middle, and you can see in my face, I kinda go, which is at first, I was kind of embarrassed, and then I showed it to Lisa, and she goes, "Well, that's perfect, because 'cause I'm sure you're gonna talk about that." I'm like, "You're right. I will share my vulnerability and my struggles, and it's awesome that I have a little video of me, like, not not crushing it on stage." Christina says, "I'm a singer and grew up singing in many choirs. Love that it's accessible to folks given many choirs aren't." Yes, it's a non-religious, non-audition community singing choir, Wholehearted Chorus. And now there's 2 of them, San Diego and Monterey. But I mean, the San Diego was the first year, and we had over 120 people. So and a lot of people are saying, "My friends are coming next year." So there's some conversations to be had because there's not many venues that have space for 100 plus singers. And so the financial things gets tough. Like if you're going to rent a massive theater, you know, it gets really expensive. I mean, luckily we had 800 people come last night, but it's it that's a topic for another time. But it's a cool problem to have that there's so many people that love singing that are not, pros. I love it. I love like I was singing this man next to me who's not super loud, and this one behind me who is not super in tone, everyone was great, but I felt like so it was liberating. I'm like, like I'm not gonna fuck anybody up. Like, so I just did my best. And with that many voices, there's plenty of times that I couldn't even hear myself. And I'm like, I don't think I'm singing anywhere near the way I practice this, but I'm just gonna trust the collective. And it all sounded good. Uh BNHY said, "Gosh, I miss choir. My college choir instructor retired this year. It was nice that we had a reunion concert, very heartfelt." And that has been one of the massive gifts of this choir season is how it has shifted my understanding of the power of song. I all growing up, my favorite music was always bass heavy, energy. I never heard lyrics. I like electronic music when that was I mean, and and I was never into singing, never into karaoke, never not like sing-alongs around the campfire, partially because I just don't remember any songs. So to have this experience where I really practiced and knew the songs, and then to be opening your voice and resonating with 100 people and feel like this is collective, oh, it's like, oh, wow, I see why this is a part of traditions all around the world. Every tradition, every culture has singing, and most spiritual practices have singing. And I get why, my mom has been such a dedicated participant in her church choir. And I'm so grateful that I get to share this choir experience with her. I'm planning on doing it next year. Although I keep nudging Lisa. I'm like, "Hey, how about half as many songs next year? Huh? How about songs where we all sing the same part? There's not like four-part harmony. How about we just all just sing along the song? Huh? Huh? What do you think?" Actually, last night my suggestion was, what if we have like varsity and junior varsity? And if you're in junior varsity, you just learn the harmony, and then the varsity can deal with all the different baritone, tenor, alter, all that stuff. She just went, ha 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 ha. Oh, Mingle says, "I have gratitude to see you last night and see Lisa's amazing choir." Mwah. I mean, I don't know what your experience was, Mingle, but I think like when my brother went, and I had a friend that came in San Diego, and I know that they showed up to be supportive. But they left and they're like, "That was awesome." I think it I was I was proud. Good morning, Julie. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can play a little bit of uh, some song from the choir. A little brief one. How about this one? This is a wide one. Let's try this one. All right. Pretty fun. Now, I happened to be blocked in that scene. I was sitting next to the guy in the wheelchair. Um, but man, so good. And if you're not familiar with the band Mamuse, they sing these beautiful. They're they're a force, a singing force, and they have a relationship to song that is very similar to Lisa's, which is why they're such good friends. And to to witness people who are just so musical and who channel songs, or they would tell stories about how a song came to them in a dream, or how a song they were just jamming under a tree and this song came out, and it's really beautiful. Oh, you can't hear it. You couldn't see the video. That's interesting. Huh? Is that true for everybody? No, you couldn't see the video? Hmm. Unusual. Okay. Well, thanks for your patience. Maybe I'll try one more and do it 50-50 and see. I think this is the one I clipped off the beginning of this one where I mess up the words and my face goes, "Arr." Yeah, we had a band and percussion, and it was stand-up bass. It was really cool. All right, let's just I'll try one more and see if it works. So Christina said the video didn't work either. I wonder why that is. Okay, this will be one last test. There you can see me. Can you hear us both? That's me sitting down over on the left. This is a video shot by Angle. Oh, it's not coming through. I wonder what that is. I assure you, I look very handsome. That's weird. Okay, well, I'll have to test that offline. My apologies. Here, I'll show it was like on the other side. It was me going. Thanks for your patience with the tech difficulty. That was a restream issue for sure, because I can see it on my screen, and then I could see that it's not coming through. Anyone else want to share any gratitudes today before we head out into the world, into the day to share? I feel like I could just go on and on about what it was like to. I mean, there was there was a point in the middle of the concert when Lisa was singing, and there were times when she was directing the choir, and I just was so overwhelmed with my admiration. I'm like, I teared up once as well, and it's funny. A couple of people afterwards they said, "Wow, one of the highlights was looking at the way that you look at Lisa." And I'm like, I am I've never had this much admiration and love, and I've never felt this way about another human being. I respect her so much. I did nothing compared to the effort that she did, but I did everything I could to try to, whenever she needed a little bit of help, I tried to do that and tried to, you know, do graphics work and make signs. And, I was running around in the front of the theater. The line was huge. We couldn't start on time because there's tons of people that were still trying to get in. And so I was out on the streets, and I mean, like, anything I can do to help this human, because I so believe in the way that she lives and the way that she utilizes her gifts and the way that she is dedicated to this devotional life. And people that I had never met, that came up to me afterwards, and like a woman who won one of the prizes. 'Cause I got somehow placed in charge of the raffle. So in the middle of the concert, I'm like reading off names, and that was a little nerve wracking. But afterwards, the young woman who won it, she could not stop talking about how significant and how powerful it was for her. And some of the messages, especially the people in the choir, like the messages that they share with Lisa about how it is a life highlight for them. And to be connected to song and to really feel that these songs, this music, these lyrics become this tool to access parts of ourselves that the mind and the ego can't get to. And that's one of the things that I'm really appreciating and really starting to appreciate about Lisa's path and her ministry and her devotion to music. If you listen to her podcast, she talked with Richard Rudd, the author of the Gene Keys, and she really talks with him about how the evolution of our consciousness, the words and the ego can only get you, the mind can only get you so far, and song is one of the ways that can help you leap into the more spiritual, less cerebral places. So I'm feeling so blessed. Of Yoga Om says, "Your love for Lisa is so divine. Thank you for sharing the love and joy." Thank you. Christina says, "Love the love story y'all are creating together." And I really, I know I promote and I upload constantly, but the episode of A Song for All of Us, where she and I talk, is, I think, a real we one, it's a pretty deep insight into me, and she asked me questions that make me, like, dig into places that I'd never really accessed because she knows me so well. But also we talk about the aspects of our relationship practices that I think have contributed to the ongoing deepening of trust and partnership that neither one of us have experienced before. And if I'm honest, I think is kind of rare. Um, and I understand we've only been together 2.5 years, and 10 years down the road, we might be so filled with resentment that we'll laugh at early us and how optimistic we were. But I really feel like the practices that we have committed to are a framework for something really significant. And I highly I could recommend it if you are in relationship, or you are hoping to be in a relationship, or you're in a new relationship. It's a good place to start. We're actually thinking about doing a workshop on um, starting a relationship on the right foot. If you are in a new relationship that feels like it's got potential, I feel like Lisa and I have a lot of insight into helping people stay on track and keep it growing in trust and support and partnership instead of accumulating friction. Any last gratitudes? Gearbot says it may be something about the video encoding it didn't like. Interesting. I mean, the the restream page showed it. It just didn't push it through. So yeah, maybe it is the encoding. I'll have to do a little testy test. I may even be pinging you for that. Welcome that the thong, which is as of today my favorite Instagram name. Urban Monk Steiner says, "Good morning, John." And even though I am what seems to be eternally single, I love to listen to people talk about how much they are in love. It fills my heart and puts a smile on my face. I appreciate you saying that. Sometimes I feel a little guilty, like I don't want to sound like I'm smug or I don't want to sound like I'm rubbing people's face in it. But I also, like, as someone who didn't ever think a relationship like this was possible for me, I and as someone who has shared the authentic truth of my life in so many ways and directions, good and bad, over the years, it feels important to share this incredible love story that I'm in the middle of. If you sort of heard, there's a concert that Lisa did a month ago or so, and I got to sing. We sang to each other. She was on stage and I was dancing. Sometimes I feel like I'm living inside the greatest story love ever told. Oh, well, I am certainly grateful to get to return from this awesome travel experience, get a long, beautiful hug with Mingle, and then share a little Hug Nation Live with you. Thanks for being here and sharing your gratitude. Urban Monk says, I'm grateful for my swimmers. I get to coach every week. I'm always so proud of my student athletes. That's got to feel great. As I watch Lisa with these hundreds of people that she's been coaching in song, and to see the what is happening between teacher, student, or choir leader and singer is so much more than the teaching of songs. And I imagine it's the same with you with the teaching of swimming. Any time that we are stepping up in roles of leadership or mentoring, we are taking on a responsibility of guiding people in a better direction in all sorts of ways. So thank you for doing that. And since we're here and we have been reminded of all the beautiful people that are out there, let's try to be that person in the world as we head out into the day. Let's try to take the opportunities to be more kind, to be more patient, to be more forgiving, to be more curious. If we find ourselves slipping into judgment, let's notice that and see if we can be a little bit more curious about the other person, or a little bit more compassionate, maybe a little bit more understanding, recognizing that everyone is doing the best they can with what they got. And just as you might find yourself judging someone based on their beliefs, which are really a long process of socialization and education and exposure, that your whole worldview is the result of your experiences, upbringing, media, brainwashing. Call it socialization, call it brainwashing, call it acculturation, whatever it is. But what you consider to be right, wrong, and true is you grew into it and someone else grew into something totally different. So as we find ourselves at odds with the other, let's try to have compassion for, if I grew up in the exact same way, I probably would understand, certainly, and maybe even be fighting for that position. And it's only from that place of curiosity that we can reach that level of compassion and love that's required for bridging the divide, that's required for connection, and that's required to apply that to ourselves so that we can embrace all aspects of ourselves, embrace our shadow, embrace whatever got us here. And also from that place of loving acceptance, we can also be less attached to beliefs that cause us suffering or beliefs that may be needed to be questioned. And as from that place of loving all of you, you can then start to have more ease in loving all of the other. That doesn't mean that you abandon everything you believe in and uh, say yes to everything out there. You may even say, I never want to talk to that person again because it so inflames and incites and triggers me. Okay. But knowing that, even if you're like, okay, that person triggers me, I'm still going to try to find patience and compassion for them while they're over there. And as I work on it, maybe I'll have a little bit more ability to accept. Nobody reaches harmony by attacking what is different. Ay, ay, ay. Urban Monk says, amen to everything you just said. My new practice is to take deep breaths before over or under reacting to stressful situations. Gerbot says 100%. Juan says, I'm grateful for the good that good people do in the world, like you two do. Thank you. And thank you for the reminder, Juan, that the good we do in the world is not measured by the number of people in the arena we're speaking to. It's measured by the connection to our heart as we do all the little things in our day. And I know that you are a beautiful practitioner of that, one. So thank you. Gerba says, another clippable moment. This bit of wisdom should be shared with a wider audience. Thank you for saying that. I'll see if I can grab a clip from this one. Thanks for everyone who popped in, who said hello, that shared some gratitude, that is contributing to this beautiful energy that we are now deputized to spread in the world. Thank you. Highly recommend you check out Lisa's podcast or one of my podcasts or so much. Check out lifestudent.com for most of it, or send me a message if you can't find Lisa's podcast, A Song for All of Us, and I will link you right there. Wherever you are, let's give ourselves a big old squeeze. Feeling grateful for being in a body on this fertile planet, for the ability to have conscious thoughts, to have sensations, to have feelings, for the ability to feel love and excitement and wonder. Grateful for all of the sunsets and sunrises and all the delicious foods and all the laughter. Grateful for all the lessons that we learn from being challenged, from being pushed to our edges. Grateful for all the past suffering that has at the time been felt like a painful why, and now we can go, oh, thank you for how it has helped me become a better version of myself. So let's be grateful for that, grateful for one another, grateful for this opportunity to share and know that we're not alone on this journey, as we take a deep breath in and squeeze each other. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being here for Hug Nation Live. I love you. Check out lifestudent.com for links to fun stuff. And if you can't find anything, just send me a note on any of the things. Urban Monk says, grateful for all the beautiful fall leaves and cool weather. Thank you, Chris. BNHY Music says, my practice is learning to transform how I see bad drivers, learning patience instead of getting pissed off. Great classroom. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Love you.